The crystalline walls of the Galactic Defense Academy's training dome shimmered with bioluminescent patterns as Instructor Velkthar's 4 eyes surveyed the assembled cadets. Elsa Martinez stood among them, her posture relaxed, while the other species shifted nervously on their various appendages. "Tactical assessment," Velkthar announced, his chitinous mandibles clicking. "You are stranded on a derelict station. No weapons, hostiles approaching, improvise." The dome's holographic generators hummed to life, transforming the sterile chamber into a maze of twisted metal corridors, sparking conduits and broken equipment. Scattered debris materialized around them, standard derelict station fare, reconstructed from 1,000 emergency scenarios. Elsa's eyes swept the environment in 3 seconds flat. Her fingers twitched. Beside her, Crixnal, a Thorian whose species had achieved spaceflight 2 millennia before Earth discovered fire, began carefully examining a length of pipe. His massive form moved with deliberate precision, the same methodical approach that had made the Thorians legendary engineers. On her other side, Zeph 7, a crystalline from the Andromeda Reach, was analyzing the molecular composition of a metal shard, her translucent form pulsing with concentration. The crystallines were known for their scientific rigor. Nothing entered their minds without proper verification. Harry Chen, the only other human in the cohort, caught Elsa's eye from across the debris field and grinned. He'd already pocketed something. She knew that look. Instructor Velkthar's countdown began. "You have 2 minutes, begin." The other cadets scattered, searching. Elsa didn't move. She didn't need to. Her hands blurred into motion. First, she snapped a jagged piece of hull plating free from a wall support, testing its weight. 14 inches, roughly 2 pounds, sharp edge. Weapon 1. She wedged it into her belt. A exposed power coupling caught her attention. She yanked free the charging cable, wrapping it around her forearm. Monofilament wire with a tensile strength of 3,000 newtons. Weapon 2, garrote or whip, depending on application. 3 feet away, a canister of coolant gel sat beside a broken refrigeration unit. She grabbed it, knotting the pressure gauge in the red. Weapon 3, improvised cryogenic grenade. The seal was already compromised. One good throw against a hard surface and it would rupture, flash freezing anything within a 2-meter radius. Harry was working on something with duct tape and broken glass. She gave him a nod of approval. The Carnix cadet, T-Leam, had finally selected a metal rod after careful deliberation, holding it uncertainly. His species had evolved on a peaceful garden world. Violence was theoretically understood but practically foreign. Elsa's mind raced through possibilities, her hands moving on autopilot. This wasn't talent, this was Earth. She unscrewed a pressure valve from a damaged oxygen tank. Weapon 4, projectile component. The spring inside could launch the valve like a bullet with the right trigger mechanism. A shard of transparent aluminum from a shattered viewport. Weapon 5, virtually invisible blade, perfect for close-quarters ambush. Magnetic clamps from a cargo container. Weapons 6 and 7, thrown properly, they'd lock onto any ferromagnetic armor or hull plating, immobilizing targets or creating anchor points. She found a container of industrial lubricant. Weapon 8, area denial. Spray it across a corridor and most bipedal species would lose traction. The frayed end of a fiber optic cable. Weapon 9. If she could route it to any functional power source, it would deliver a devastating electrical charge. 30 seconds had elapsed. Zeph 7 was still analyzing her first potential weapon, running spectral analysis through her crystalline matrix. The molecular bonds suggest this alloy would fracture at approximately. "Zeph, just grab it," Harry called out, now somehow in possession of what looked like a makeshift crossbow constructed from hull springs and composite struts. Elsa continued, a broken-off chair leg, weapon 10, classic bludgeon. She splintered it against the floor, creating 3 sharp stakes. Weapons 11, 12, and 13. Chemical fire suppressant canister. Weapon 14. The foam would blind and suffocate oxygen breathers. She spotted a discarded emergency beacon, cracked it open, and extracted the magnesium flare core. Weapon 15. Incendiary device. The battery pack beside it could serve as an ignition source. Weapon 16, though really a component of 15. A length of reinforced tubing. Weapon 17, blowgun. She tested it, found a handful of small metal fasteners nearby. Weapons 18 through 25, ammunition. Crixnell had successfully bent his pipe into a more effective shape and seemed pleased with himself. His thermal pits flared with satisfaction. Elsa wasn't even halfway done. Gravity plating panel, removed and wielded like a shield. Weapon 26, defensive, but a weapon nonetheless. Aerosol can of industrial cleaner plus the sparking electrical wire from earlier. Weapon 27, improvised flamethrower. She found a cache of cable ties. Weapons 28 through 35. Restraints, yes, but also makeshift caltrip when scattered, or brass knuckle reinforcement when wrapped around fists, or tripwire components. Medical kit yielded a scalpel, weapon 36. The scalpel's packaging was rigid plastic, snapped and shaped correctly. Weapon 37, a second blade. Antiseptic solution from the kit. Weapon 38, thrown in eyes, highly effective. Compressed air duster. Weapon 39, inverted, it sprayed liquid refrigerant. Instructor Velkthar's eyes were all focused on Elsa now. The other instructors in the observation gallery had gone silent. Fascinating, murmured Instructor S.H. Laura, a wise elder of the contemplation worlds. The human doesn't hesitate, no analysis paralysis, just recognition and adaptation. 1 minute remaining, Velkthar announced. Elsa found a small welding torch, still partially fueled. Weapon 40, obvious applications. The torch's igniter mechanism, separated. Weapon 41, could generate sparks for numerous purposes. A spool of nano cable. Weapon 42, cutting wire that could slice through most materials if enough force was applied. Emergency rations in the survival kit. Weapon 43, the vacuum-sealed packages could be filled with the chemical fire suppressant and coolant gel she'd found earlier, creating pressure bombs. The survival kit's reflective emergency blanket. Weapon 44, blinding opponents with reflected light or concealment. Broken mirror shard from what had been a bathroom. Weapon 45, another blade plus signaling device. She grabbed a heavy wrench. Weapon 46, straightforward kinetic impact. Plastic zip ties from an equipment bundle. Weapon 47, combined with the aerosol cleaning solution and ignition source, she could create a rudimentary flechette launcher using pressure differential. Time, Velkthar called. The cadets assembled. Telim held his metal rod. Crixnell presented his bent pipe with formal pride. Zeph 7 had selected a scientifically optimal blade of stressed titanium composite. The other cadets showed similar single selections, carefully chosen, thoroughly considered. Harry displayed his crossbow and 3 backup options he'd cobbled together. Elsa stood in front of a small arsenal, 47 distinct weapons and weapon components, arranged by function and lethality. The silence in the training dome was absolute. Cadet Martinez, Velkthar said slowly, would you care to explain? Elsa shrugged. You said improvise a weapon, sir. These are what I could make in 2 minutes. Given 5, I could probably triple it. Given 10, I could fortify this position and create a defensible perimeter with overlapping fields of fire. And you identified all of these. How? Earth isn't a peaceful world, sir. Never has been. Before we reached the stars, we spent 10,000 years turning everything around us into weapons. Rocks, sticks, bones, metals, chemicals, electricity, radiation. If it exists, humans have weaponized it. We've fought with stones and satellites, swords and singularities. It's not something we're proud of, but it's what we are. When you grow up on a world where survival meant constant innovation and violence, you start seeing everything as a potential weapon. Because at some point in our history, it probably was one. Instructor S.H. Laura floated down from the observation gallery, her energy form shimmering with interest. The other species require time to shift mental frameworks from object to weapon. But for you, there is no shift. No, ma'am, the framework is already there, always has been. Harry spoke up. It's not just military training instructors. Human children play games where they pretend sticks are swords. We tell stories about heroes who defeat enemies with cleverness and improvisation. We celebrate the underdog who wins with inferior tools through superior ingenuity. It's cultural, it's genetic, it's who we are. Velkthar's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. This exercise was designed to assess tactical adaptability under pressure. In 300 years of running this scenario, no cadet has ever produced more than 7 viable weapons. Most find 1 or 2. He looked at Elsa, then at Harry. Humanity has been in the galactic community for only 40 years. We've been uncertain about how your species would integrate. Too violent, some said. Too aggressive. Too dangerous. His 4 eyes swept across all the assembled cadets. What I see here is not danger. I see survivors. I see a species that never gives up, never stops adapting, never accepts defeat. I see cadets who, when the hostiles come through that door, will have 47 ways to ensure their squad makes it home. He straightened to his full height. Dismissed. Except you, Cadet Martinez. We need to discuss your advanced tactical applications course. Clearly, the standard curriculum is insufficient. As the other cadets filed out, Crixnell paused beside Elsa, his massive head lowering respectfully. I have studied warfare for 6 cycles. You have taught me more in 2 minutes than all my previous instructors. This is why humans are necessary in the galaxy. You remind us that survival is an art, not a science. After he left, Harry hung back. 47, show off. Elsa grinned. You only got 4 because you wasted time making that crossbow look cool. Style matters, Elsa. So does efficiency. Agreed, which is why I also palmed these. He revealed a handful of micro-components, power cells, conductors, and what looked like parts of a communications device. Elsa raised an eyebrow. Improvised EMP. Focused electromagnetic pulse generator. Would have been weapon 5 if I'd had 3 more minutes. They stood together, 2 humans among the stars, carrying 10,000 years of survival instinct in their DNA, proof that sometimes the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy was simply the refusal to ever be unarmed. And in the observation gallery above, the instructors of 100 species watched and learned what it meant to be human, to see a broken universe and immediately understand how to make it fight for you. Because on Earth, necessity wasn't just the mother of invention. It was the mother of weaponry. And humans had been her children for a very, very long time.